Hi, this is Kevin Byrne with the Byrne Real Estate Group. Wanted to talk to you a little bit about the reasons why buying this year might be really a good situation for everybody. Let's talk about it. So I'm gonna share my screen here. There's a couple slides I'm gonna go over here. So we're talking about um, reasons to buy this winter, right? So one of them is the home ownership certainly has, some major perks in terms of what you can do, when you can do it, et cetera. So number one is, provide security, stability, success, obviously for homeowners that can make improvements. Mortgage rates are climbing is number two. Number three, we've got home prices are soaring. So with inflation, you got, you got mortgage rates are going to go up. Home prices are going up rapidly. We're expecting maybe even double digits this year in Colorado. So supply and demand, you're going to be looking at increasing home prices. The other thing too is rents are rising. We're seeing rents go up 25% right now because of the shortage of rentals. So bottom line is, if you want to control your future, you can buy a house and be in a much better situation than you would be by renting. So here's some of the experts' insights, into what's happening right now in the marketplace. You've got people saying the housing demand remains strong. Some measures of homes seem too high. I mean, I think a lot of people are like, why am I paying this? But the bottom line is, if you look historically, home prices have always increased. There's been some down markets, of course, but if you're looking to stay in a house 5 to 10 years, you've got a really good chance of having some significant appreciation. We've got people who are buying new homes. By the time they close, they've picked up maybe $150,000. This is the largest, increase in home equity that we've seen in probably decades. So according to CoreLogic, the average home price increased 18% in the last 12 months. That is huge, especially out here. It's an expensive marketplace, so appreciation is increasing. It's a good thing. So let's look at what the experts are saying. So home prices forecast for 2022 anywhere from 3% to 7%. I think we're going to certainly out average that this year. We're already seeing, we listed a house this weekend, highest sale price for the same house in the same subdivision was 530,000. We got 612. So I would say that's a pretty big increase when you look at almost $80,000, over $80,000 in just a few months. Yeah. So why shouldn't you be upset by 3% mortgage rates? Because when you look at the averages, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, we're doing just fine. So at 3%, it's certainly well below the historical averages. Now is a great time to buy. So take advantage of it. You can purchase more. The affordability index is going up and up. So let's talk a little bit about some of the challenges, in the current market right now. So when we look at, the current market itself, what we're looking at are some significant challenges when you're talking about buying a new home. I'm gonna look at some notes here. Number one is you're gonna pay way over list price on average. We're expecting the average for a buyer to pay somewhere between 5 to 10% over list price this year. So that's a fairly significant benchmark. I mean, it's a lot of money. You're looking at a $500,000 property. You're probably paying $525 to $550 for it. I mean, that is significant, right? Number two, you may not be able to find the perfect home. Let me, bust a bubble here. There's no perfect home out there. Whether you're buying at $200,000, you're buying at $20 million. There's going to be things that you're going to want different. You need to settle in this marketplace. You're going to have to settle for a 7 or 8. and then make some upgrades. Because if you wait for the perfect house, guess what? You're going to pay 25% more for it in a few years. So put your big boy pants on, go out, your big girl pants out, and just know you're going to have to pay probably more than you want, and the house probably won't be as nice as you want it to be. So just get ready for that. Number two, again, we mentioned this before, you're going to pay somewhere between 5 to 10% over list price for it, just the way it is. The inspection will be an as-is inspection. So where you think you're going to, pay $10,000, $10, $20, $30,000 over list price, you're going to be really diligent and aggressive on the inspection. No, you're not in this marketplace. In fact, you may not be able to ask for anything, or very minor if major mechanical issues or structural issues are on the house, then you can ask for some of those. But sometimes not even then, because there may be a backup offer right behind it, and they might just try to get you out. So number four is be prepared not to bring cash to closing to make up for an appraisal gap. So let's say that it's listed at 500, you pay 550 for it, and 500 is the appraisal because everything that sold before in the neighborhood justified 500. You may have to bring $50,000 to closing. Now, I know all these things seem crazy. We're working through it right now with dozens of buyers on an annualized basis. So again, you've got to have the right mindset. So number 5 is you got to have the right mindset. You've got to be aggressive. If you're someone who's cautious, let's say you're an engineer, let's say you're high analytical, where you just overthink things, and again, you have challenges making quick decisions. This is a hard market for you. So get ready. You got to be ready. No contingencies too. So one of the things we're finding, there are a lot of cash buyers right now, or people with significant cash down. We've got some programs right now with a company where we can actually, if you have a house to sell, they'll buy the house and they'll provide you cash for a cash offer where you can close in as quick as 14 days. So there are some great programs out here that can provide you, if you are a seller who wants to buy and move up buy. Right now, interest rates are still great. Now's a good time. So just kind of saying, if you're a buyer, you're out there in the marketplace, you got to have the right mindset, a winning mindset. You got to be aggressive. You've got to be, willing to make really some sacrifices in terms of your ability. Now, the good news is you still do have the ability to inspect the house. So in the first, say, 7 to 10 days, if for whatever reason you don't like the house, or something didn't quite seem like it was right for you, you can terminate and get your earnest money back. So that's the key, is you need someone who's really on top of things. You need someone who's going to be supportive, provide advisory services for you, and make sure that you have a winning strategy. So 1, you'll need expert advice. 2, you'll need, someone to help you with selecting great inspectors. So if you're a buyer, you're out in the marketplace, you're kind of doing it yourself, there's some challenges right now. You're going to usually be late to the party. You may not know how to write up the contract correctly. If you're going directly to the buyer agent, if there isn't competition, you may not know about it, and you may overpay. So just be careful about that. So finding the ideal price, we're going to help you put together the right strategy. It may be higher than you want, but at the end of the day, if it's the house you want, we're going to provide the proper negotiation and offer strategy so you'll actually win. I mean, that's probably the most significant piece. Hiring someone who can put the right offer strategy together so you can win and get to the closing table smoothly and with as little stress as possible. And then obviously we have great vendor relationships. So if you do need to do some work, from not only inspectors to structural engineers to interior designers, we've got some great vendors that can help you before, pre-close, or after close to make sure that the house is set up for success going forward. So let's talk about a couple statistics. Number 1, the average agent only sells somewhere between 4 to 6 houses, maybe 8 houses a year, depending on some studies. We're selling 40 plus houses. So, we have a lot more experience than the average bird. If you're going to get LASIK surgery, you want to make sure that, you're going to someone who has success day in, day out. So hire someone with a great track record. 45% of agents spend less than $500 a year on professional development and skills. I've got a private coach. I'm learning that the best strategies given the current market out there. So hire someone who is really an expert in the craft of real estate, okay, whether it's buyers or sellers. 85% of sales agents don't have any specialized certifications. Now, we've got several certifications in terms of what we do to help people both in the luxury market and the general market itself. So find someone who, again, is serious, a full-time professional, and who really takes it seriously in terms of their advisory services. And then 90% of folks don't even have a buyer agency disclosure. So if you're working with us, we're going to go through all of the disclosures, the buyer agency itself, make sure you feel you're completely represented. And we do have a provision in there. If you're not happy with us at any time, you can fire us. So again, and that goes both ways. So if it's not a good relationship, you have the ability, you're not tied into any long-term contract, we'll make sure you're taken care of. So, going through, again, the buying process, you want to make sure you select the right agent up front. You go through the properties that are available on the market. We're also finding a lot of homes off market that either didn't sell in the past, or maybe in neighborhoods who you like. We're doing mailings, we're doing callings into the area proactively to find out off-market inventory. So if you want to find some off-market inventory, we may be a good fit for you. So that's about it. If you have any questions, I'd love to chat with you a little bit more about the buying process, what's happening in the marketplace right now. Give us a call. Thanks.